I was in the smoking room of the crew bar and it was rammed. The room was full of smoke as the air condition had never worked properly in the first place. This was because the smoking room was a quick addition when the law changed. The crew bar was never designed with this room. They just worded in a new bulkhead into the corner of the main crew bar. When the cutback ship was built, it was designed to have this room, and the extraction was purpose designed for smokers. Anyways, it wasn't a party night, but there was a big handful of shoppies, togs, youthies, spa and twirlies. A good, healthy mix. Bar closed and we were all still here playing drinking games. Lots of us had a stash of booze to help us continue our fun. It was about 3 a.m. when the night manager came along. This night manager was a right little Hitler. You could tell that he was bullied at school and became corrupted by power once he gained it with this new position. This night manager had quite a cruel nickname, T-Rex, not because he was a vicious monster, but because of his birth defect arms. His arms were half the length of what they should have been, hence the name T-Rex. T-Rex wanted us all to leave the bar for some reason. I can't remember why, as at this point on night it was always trash, but I did remember negotiating with him. I asked him to give us half hour, and when he returned we wouldn't be here. As soon as T-Rex left, I called everyone over and proclaimed that we would go back to mine. Some people laughed, but I wouldn't have any of it. I was convinced that I would be able to cram everyone into my cabin. I pulled out my wallet and found some cash and slammed it on the table. Who would bet me that I couldn't cram everyone into my cabin? I counted the cash. There's about €50, $10 and a £20 note. One of the youths began a head count. After a minute she came back with a figure. 40 people, she said. Who will take my bet? I shouted. Come on, any takers? There were no takers, but everyone agreed to give it a try. We all left the bar and made our way down to my cabin. As I got to my door, there was a long line of people going all the way back to the staircase. I opened the door and we began to enter. As everyone came in slowly, I began to organise where people went. I managed to fit 10 people on my bed. It was a single bed, but with everyone sat cross-legged and people sat on laps at the edge, it was achieved. I reached up and pulled down my top bunk. I managed to fit 5 people on there. Next was the bathroom. I managed to cram 12 people in there, on and around the toilet, and people standing in the shower. With a bit of forcing, I managed to shut the door. The queue to get in was getting shorter and shorter. Next to the head of my bed and sandwiched between the wardrobe was a small built-in table. I had some standing on there. I managed to sit 3 people on my desk. I opened up my wardrobe and fitted 4 people inside, 2 per half. I went back outside and saw more people in the queue. It was a casino team. They had just finished for the evening, so I let them join in. By the cabin door was a chest of drawers. I sat a person on there. Then one by one I counted another 14 people standing in the floor space. It was tight and I just about managed to close the door, including myself, and I counted a total of 52 people, so all 40 of us from the bar plus another 12 from the casino. It was hard to breathe as someone's arms or leg would knock you into your ribs. Also, you could taste the air. You could taste what people were drinking as well as taste their body odour in the air. We needed more airflow, so I forced my way to the air vent and forced off the grill, and then handballed it to the top of my wardrobe. There still wasn't enough airflow, so I got someone to pass over my screwdrivers and my spanner that was on my desk. Here, guys, give me a lift up. The sea of people picked me up, and I stuck my hand into the vent to have a quick probe. I could feel an iris in the vent. I got my spanner and shoved it into the vent, then started to bash away at the iris. After a few minutes of gentle persuasion, the iris was fully open, and I wedged a screwdriver in there to permanently wedge this iris fully open. Within seconds, the airflow was doubled. The sea of people lowered me down, and we had done it. The room was no longer full of stink. The party yet continued till there was a knock at the door. A member of the casino opened up the door and T-Rex was standing there. Party's over, people said, and everyone began to spill out of my cabin. He took out his notebook and began to take a tally of people as they left. When it was just me in my trashed room with footprints on everything, T-Rex said, I have to report this in the night log. I got really cheeky and said, be sure you do, because it will be entered into the ship's logs that I hold the record for the most amount of people in a blue door cabin. T-Rex snapped. And is that something to be proud about? I lit a cigarette and said, well, yeah, as it goes. I've achieved the impossible, and I couldn't care less if I get in trouble about this. You have to admit, though, the amount of people in here was impressive. You do know that I can get you breathalyzed, said T-Rex. I put on my funny voice, oh, the breathalyzer! Whenever I haven't had a witty response, I could only come out with some generic... Oh, the breathalyzer! Whenever I haven't got a witty response, I can only come out with a generic threat of getting someone in the sack with the breathalyzer! I returned to my normal voice. Do I have to go down to the medical centre for you to have to wake up the entertainment manager, the head of security, and the production manager over a bit of sarcasm, or can I just go to bed? T-Rex looked at me, shook his head, and walked out and slamming the door behind him. I went to get into the bed and noticed that my duvet cover was full of footprints, fag ash, and booze stench. I looked at the spare on the top bunk, and that was reasonably clean, so I swapped them over and went to sleep. In the morning, my pager went off. I fell out of bed and rummaged through my trouser pockets and pulled it out. It was the entertainment manager. I crawled over to my desk and picked up the phone. The phone's time display said it was 9 a.m. I've only had 4 hours of sleep. I dialed up the entertainment office and the boss answered. Once you get showered and dressed, can you come to my office, please? The entertainment manager hung up. I replaced the receiver and crawled into the bathroom and forced myself into the shower. Within 15 minutes I was in the entertainment office and there was quite an audience in there. As I walked in there was a round of applause from members of the Ents team, the production team and some of the show cast. The entertainment manager turned his computer screen around so the office could see the night report. Paul, said the entertainment manager, can you read out the entry? It is the only one of the night and it is a very interesting read. I began to read out aloud. Noise complaint, cabin 6116. I went to investigate, and when the door was eventually opened after knocking for nearly 20 minutes, I found a significant amount of people within this cabin party. There were various departments present, and to name but a few: spa, casino, commercial and entertainment. The head count was 52. It was as though it was a muster station. Once the party was dispersed, I was met with smugness and arrogance from the offending crew member, and I finished reading. Smugness and arrogance, said the entertainment manager. Well, kind of. He told me I'd be putting the night logs in a bid to scare me, which didn't work. So I asked him to make sure that he does so, as my record would be made official. It's not every day that someone gets a fleet record of that magnitude. There was a round of applause once more. The lead male vocalist from the cast was in the office and just came out with, from now on your cabin should be called Muster Station X. I laughed, and so did everyone else. The entertainment manager said, just don't do it again. And if the night manager asks, you got a bollocking, am I understood? Oh, I'm hearing you on FM, I said. I left the office and thought to myself, Muster Station X. I like that name.